Good morning again. I'm coming from Stream in Port Colborne, hoping that you can all share this practice with me. Today we're going to be working on arm balance, so something fun to do while we're all under quarantine, and I hope you enjoy the class. So I do recommend 2 blocks today or books, anything that you can use to assist later when we try an arm balance. Also any blankets or pillows you can use to kind of create a landing pad for yourself and also to use during Shavasana. So roll your mat out, create a nice clear space, and get yourself set up for practice. So you can let's come into a child's pose today. So let's start here. Send the knees out wide. Let the hips sink way back. Arms can stretch out in front of you and lower the elbows down. And let the head come to rest on your mat. And just start to tune in to your body, tune in to your breath. Start to notice how the body is feeling today. If there's any areas of tension or tightness. And then try and move your breath in that direction. Feel the back ribs expand as you inhale. And your chest melt and soften as you exhale. And start to notice any thoughts or feelings that might start to bubble up here. Take notice of them, be aware of them, and then try and send them on their way as you take some time for yourself here on your mat. Maybe rock your forehead back and forth a little bit, give your forehead a massage. Good, then walk your hands off to the right-hand corner of your mat. Extend your left hand longer on top of the right and let your head drop. Getting into the side ribs now. Good, come back through center, all the way over to the right. Extend the right hand longer. Let the head drop. Good, and come all the way back through center. And then start to walk your hands in towards your knees. Bring the knees together, sink yourself over onto your hip, and swing the legs around, coming all the way back down onto your back. And you can have the feet out to the width of your mat, let your knees knock in together. Take a moment here. Breathing in, breathing out. Good, and then gently hug the knees into the chest. Start to rock them back and forth. Massaging out your back. And then slide the knees so they're over top of the hips. Rock it back and forth there. And then keeping your big toes glued together, start to circle the knees wide away from each other. And then reverse direction, go the other way.
And next time the knees come together, grab for the insides of the soles of the feet. The heels kick up to stack over top of the knees to find a happy baby. And then find whatever movement feels good for you here. Maybe rock it back and forth. Maybe find some movement with the legs. Good, then come back to the happy baby. Find a moment of stillness here. Plug the shoulders down into the earth. Feel the tailbone reaching out in front of you. Take a deep inhale in. Exhale, sigh it out. One more like that, inhale. And as you exhale, see if you can create some space. Good, the right foot comes down to your mat. Left leg stays in this half happy baby shape. You can take your right hand to your hip to keep your hip square. And then just gently start to pulse this knee down a little bit, opening up the hip even more. Good, on your exhale, extend the leg all the way up to the sky, pausing here just for a moment. And then cross the leg all the way over top of the right. Both knees are going to drop over into your twist. Arms can cactus out, and your gaze can go in the opposite direction if that feels okay. And take a few deep breaths here. Good, on your next inhale, bring the face back up through center and the knees as well. Unravel. And then the right leg comes into that half happy baby shape. Left hand can come to your hip and start to pulse the right knee down. Opening up the hip even more. Good, extend the right leg all the way up towards the ceiling. And then right leg crosses over top of left, knees drop over, arms come out, and your gaze can go in the opposite direction if that feels okay. Beautiful. On your next inhale, face comes back up and the knees come back up as well. Keep the legs crossed here and then take the hands, right hand scoops underneath left so the elbows are crossed and then back of the hands come to touch, maybe the fronts of the palms, lift the elbows up. Then from here, lift the toes up off of the mat. If you have the ability in your ankle and leg, you can wrap this foot around. And then lift the shoulders up off of the mat. On your inhale, tuck elbows to knees. Exhale, hover. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Lift, lower. Feel your belly button pulling into your spine. Lower, lift, lower. Two more, lift. Lower, last one, lift, and lower. Good, unravel the legs, unravel the arms. And then re-ravel, the right leg crosses over top of the left, left hand scoops underneath right, backs of the hands or fronts of the palms, lift the arms up, lift the toes up, and wrap if you can. Peel the shoulders up and off, pull the belly button into the spine, and then tuck everything together. Lengthen, tuck, lengthen, tuck, lengthen, tuck, lengthen. Three more. 3, 2, last one. Good, unravel again. This time let the legs windshield wiper back and forth. Releasing the lower back. Good, coming through center, hands come behind the backs of your thighs here. We're gonna take 3 spinal rocks to come into a boat pose. From here, you're gonna rock it up 1, all the way down and back up 2. And your last one, 3, pausing here in your boat. So get yourself situated. Then maybe arms come out. Hug the inner thighs together. Pause here. Open the collarbones. Good, then bring the hands together to clasp and steeple the fingers and send the knees out wide. Pause here. Good, bring the knees together, boat. Exhale, send the knees out, arms forward. One more time like this. Hands together, knees wide, lift. Good, cross the ankles, plant the hands, and come all the way up to a seated position here on your knees. So just taking a few moments to warm up our wrists here. So just start to circle the wrists. And then go the other way. Take your hands and open them, close them, fast as you can. And this starts to get into the forearms. Good, shake, shake, shake. And then bring your hands or elbows together and interlace the fingers, making a fist here. And then just start to draw figure 8s, trying to keep the elbows together. Good, and then reverse that direction, which will feel very strange. Good, then release. Come all the way onto all fours here. So shoulders over top of wrists, hips over top of knees. Tuck your chin to your chest, really round through the back. Send the shoulder blades away from each other. On your inhale, drop your belly, kick the tailbone out, open up the collarbones. Good, starting from the lower back, round, chin to chest. Inhale, drop and lower, piece of spine by piece of spine. Face lifts. One more time, tuck and round. Inhale, drop and lower. Good, coming back to your neutral spine here. You're gonna extend this right leg out behind you and let it float up. So even here, feel your belly button pulling into your spine so your hips stay level and flat. And take 10 little pulses up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, now take this leg, sweep it up and over to touch behind the left leg. Inhale, up and over to the right. Up and over to the left. Up and over to the right. Up and over to the left. Over to the right. Painting like a rainbow here. Over to the right. Good, last one, up and over. All the way back and over. Good, let it lift up again, staying here. Then take this right knee, tap it to the elbow. Extend. Elbow, extend. Elbow, extend. Elbow, extend. Good, place the right knee down. Step the right hand forward, and then the left. Shift the hips forward here. Hug the elbows in, lowering down. 1, 2, 3, exhale, lift. Down. 1, 2, 3, lift. Down. 1, 2, 3, and lift. Sink it back, child's pose. Let the head drop. Good, shift it all the way forward to all fours again. Feeling length from the tailbone out to the crown of the head, and extend the left leg out behind you. Let it float up. Good, be careful not to let this hip open, turn it under. Feel the rib cage closing in. And 10 pulses. Lift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, lift it up and over, crossing the right leg. Up and over to the left. Up and over, right. Still feel that belly button pulling into the spine. Over, over. Keep moving like this. Over to the right, over to the left, over to the right, over to the left. Last one, to the right, over to the left. Good, lift the leg, and then the knee comes to the elbow. Tuck and extend. Tuck and extend. Tuck, extend, tuck, and extend. Good, knee comes down. Walk the hands out again. Let the hips drop in for that modified plank, coming into chaturanga push-ups. Elbows hug in, lower down, 1, 2, 3, and lift. Down, 1, 2, 3, and lift. Last 1, 2, 3, and lift. Sink it back, child's pose. This time you can bring the hands back to your heels and let your head drop. Take a few breaths here. Good, hands can come back out in front of you, coming up to all fours. Tuck the back toes under, slide the hips all the way up and back, and find your downward facing dog. So give everything a wiggle out here. Take whatever movements that you like in your first down dog of the practice. Give your head a shake. Good, and this time walk your hands all the way back to meet your toes. Let your head drop, find a bend in the knees. And give it a little sway, back and forth. Good, then hands release down to your mat. I want you to sink the hips back, reach the arms up, chair pose. Hug the inner thighs in. Sink the hips back, slide the hips back. Good, exhale, fold it forward, and then walk the hands all the way out. Plank pose, pausing here. Spread your shoulder blades wide. Good, bend the knees, walk the hands back in. Sink the hips back, arms reach up, chair. Good, exhale, fold. Walk it out. Plank pose. Pause. Bend the knees, walk it back in. Sink the heels back, the hips back, chair pose. Exhale, fold. Walk it back out. Chair pose, plank pose, pardon me. Good, bend the knees, walk it back in. Sink the hips back, reach it up, chair. Pause here. Exhale, fold it all the way in. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold into the body. Good, this time walk your hands all the way out to find your downward facing dog. So readjust here. Everything gets another little pedal out. And then your gaze comes between your hands, rise up to your toes. Tippy toe your feet up to meet the top of your mat. Fold your body in. Bend your knees, root to rise. Arms go wide, fingers touch. Exhale, dive it forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold it in. Hands root, right leg steps back, and then the left. You can modify by lowering the knees. Shift forward, elbows hug in, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, take it up, upward facing. Exhale, up and back. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in and out. Toes into touch, right leg slides up, three-legged dog. Right knee tucks into the chest and steps through. Good, square the hips here. Inhale, reach it up, crescent lunge. Good, from here, this left knee is coming all the way up to standing. Left knee into the chest. Right hand goes underneath left. Backs of the hands, fronts of the palm, eagle arms. Cross the leg over for eagle. You can wrap the toes if you can. Sink it down. Breathe, feel your thighs hugging in towards each other. Good, exhale, unravel everything, crescent lunge. Hands come down to frame the foot. Right leg escapes. Hips go up and back. Downward dog, deep breath in. Deep breath out. Left leg slides up, three-legged dog. Left knee into the chest and step it through. Square the hips. Inhale, reach it all the way up, crescent lunge. Right knee coming up to the chest. Left hand goes under right, eagle arms. Right leg crosses over left, eagle legs. Wrap if you can, or kickstand. Breathe. Focus on something that's not moving. Feel everything coming into that midline. Good, unravel. Crescent lunge. Hands come down. Left leg escapes to meet the right. Hips go up and back. Down dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more like that. Deep breath in. And out. Gaze comes between your hands. Rise up to your toes. Get springy and light. Take it up to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold it in. Bend your knees. Root to rise. Arms go wide. Fingers touch. Exhale, dive it forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Hands root, right leg back, and then the left. Shift it forward or modify. Elbows hug in, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, take it up, upward facing. Exhale, up and back. Down dog. Toes into touch. Right leg slides up, three-legged dog. From here, shift it forward, this right knee touching the right elbow. Tap. Send it back, three-legged dog. Shift it forward, tap. Send it back, three-legged dog. Shift it forward, center, and step it through. Square the hips. Inhale, reach it all the way up. Crescent lunge. Take the heel here, put it over top of the ball of the foot. Good, now we're pivoting towards the center of your mat, coming into a goddess pose. Try and keep the level of your hips here. Breathe, feel the thighs rolling back. Pivoting now to the back of your mat, crescent lunge. Good, hands come down to frame the foot. Left leg escapes to the plank. Hips slide up and back. Downward dog. Good, this time left leg slides up. Shift the left knee forward, tap left elbow. Three-legged dog. Shift it forward, tap. Three-legged dog. This time through the center. Step it through. Reach it up. Crescent lunge. Maintaining the level of your hips here. Pivot, goddess, to the center of your mat. Sink it down. A few breaths here. Good, pivot to the front of your mat now, crescent lunge. Hands come down. Right leg escapes. Hips go up and back. Down dog, deep breath in. Sigh it out. Take your knees out wide. Let your hips sink back. And take a moment here. Breathing in, breathing out if your breath has gotten away from you. Good, when you're ready, shift it forward, all fours. Tuck the back toes under, slide the hips back, downward facing. Gaze comes between the hands, rise up to the toes, get springy and light, take it up to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold it in. Bend the knees, root to rise, take it all the way up. Exhale, dive it forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold it in. Hands root. Right leg steps back, and then the left to find your plank. Shift it forward, elbows hug in, lower down. Inhale, take it up, upward facing. Give the neck and head a little turn here. Slide it all the way back. Downward dog. So same sequence, just adding on. The right leg slides up. Right elbow, right knee tap. Three-legged dog. Right elbow, right knee tap. Three-legged dog. This time through the center. Step it through. Reach it all the way up. Crescent lunge. Good. Right hand comes underneath left to make these eagle arms again. Pivoting to goddess, center of your mat. From here, twist to the right, twist to the left. Back through center. Good. I want you to unravel the arms as you straighten the legs. Kick the heels out. Hands can come into your hip crease as you fold yourself forward, Prasarita. Hands can come down. Send the weight into the balls of your feet. Left hand roots, right hand comes to the small of your back here. And then on your inhale, open the chest. Twist. Back through center. Right hand replaces left. Left hand comes to the small of your back. And then roll the chest open. Back through center. Good, hands come into hip crease. Pull yourself all the way up to standing. Heels kick in, toes kick out. Sink it down, goddess pose. Good, pivoting to the back of the mat. Crescent lunge. Hands come down to frame the foot. Left leg escapes to the plank, and the hips go up and back. Downward dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Left leg slides up, three-legged dog. Left knee to left elbow, tap. Three-legged dog. Shift it forward, tap. Three-legged dog. All the way through the center. Step it through. Reach it up, crescent lunge. Good, right hand goes underneath left, eagle arms. Pivot to the side of your mat. Goddess pose, sink it down.
Twist towards the left. Twist towards the right. Straighten the legs. Unravel the arms, kick the heels out. Fold yourself forward. Wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Right hand roots, left hand to the small of your back. Open up the chest. Back through center. Left hand roots, right hand comes behind. Open the chest. Back through center. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Hands come into the hip crease. Use the power of your legs to pull yourself all the way back up through center. Heels kick in, toes kick out, goddess pose. Good, pivoting all the way back to the top of the mat, crescent lunge. Hands come down to frame the foot. Right leg escapes, and the hips go up and back. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Good, take your gaze between your hands. Rise up to your toes and tippy-toe the feet all the way up to the hands. From here, heel toe the feet apart so they're out to the width of your mat. Toes can be turned out a little bit. You can use a block here if you need. Coming it down into a yogi squat. So sink the hips down. If you have your balance, take your hands into heart center and use your elbows to push the knees away so the crown of the head can grow tall. You can give it a little wiggle here, a little sway side to side. Now from here, you're sinking down into these hip joints. Lift up a little bit and start to turn on those muscles in the legs. Good, exhale, relax, sink it back down. One more time like that, lift out of the joints. Exhale, back down. Good, hands come down to the mat, lift your hips up, heel toe the feet back in, and slowly roll yourself all the way up to standing. Okay, so we're gonna come into crow pose now. I suggest using blankets or pillows as a little crash pad if you don't have this in your practice or you haven't practiced it recently, just in case, but you're at home, so you have all kinds of things that you can use. You can also use blocks to prop yourself up to get the height you might need for crow. So we'll start with a block in the back, which you can step your toes on. Hands come down. So hands need to come in between the knees here. Heels are touching together. We're gonna make that chaturanga type of arm so that elbows are bending back to create a little shelf for our knees to come into. So this is helpful if you have a hard time getting your knees up onto your tricep area. So you're gonna lift the hips, plant the knees as close to the armpits as you can, shift forward, bend the elbows. You really have to shift, maybe the toes come up. So that's one option to practice. You can remove that block. The other option, of course, is to have a block here for your forehead. So same principle applies here, and you can have pillows around as well. Hands come down, knees splay out, looking for that shelf to create. So you want to shift the knees forward, bend the elbows back, shift yourself forward so that you can find your forehead on that block, and then maybe your knees come up, your toes come up. Good. So that's another option to practice with. And then of course the full version of crow is all of those things minus the props. But the principle, again, still the same. So hands come in between, heels are locked in together, hips lift up to create that shelf. You have to shift forward, to look forward, gaze forward. Good. So you can give that a try. You can pause the video, play around for a while. If you've done that and you've come back, we're going to take a little back bend just to open up the chest. Crow pose involves a lot of constriction and contraction. So we'll come all the way down onto our bellies here. And on your inhale, have your hands just beside your rib cage. Hug the elbows in, lift the chest up, cobra. That should feel nice. Lower down. Again, do this organically, whatever your body needs. Good. This time, bring the arms back, interlace the fingers, roll the shoulder blades down. And on an inhale, lift the legs, lift the chest. So getting a whole frontal body opening. Exhale, release. Side of the face comes down. Let the shoulders roll in. Good. Bring your hands below the rib cage again. Push yourself all the way up to all fours. And then sink yourself over to your hip and pull yourself around. So before we Shavasana, just take a moment here. If you have a block or even a blanket, you can fold up underneath your hips for a little bit of height. Coming into a supported bridge pose. So let your hips come onto the block or the blanket. Again, allowing this to open. And then even tuck the right knee into the chest and extend the right leg all the way up to the sky. Left knee tucks in as well. You can hug your hands around that left knee. Keep this right foot straight and parallel and slowly start to lower it all the way down. Get a nice stretch through that hip flexor, which will feel really nice after all that crow practice. Good, and then bring the right knee back in. Hands come over the right knee, left leg comes up. And keeping it parallel and straight, slowly lower it down. You might find a hover. You might find your mat. Either way, you should feel a nice stretch through this front hip flexor here. Good, and then the left knee comes back in to meet the right. Both feet come down to the earth. And then we're down through the feet to lift your hips up, remove your blanket, remove your block, and lower your hips back down to your mat. So moving into Shavasana now. Take any final movements that your body needs. Get any sweaters on that you like. Change the music that you want to have. And prepare yourself for your final resting pose. Have your arms away from your sides with your palms facing up. And then when you get here, take a deep inhale for 2 counts. Inhale, 1, 2. Exhale, 4, 3,
2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. And return back to your own natural breath. And start to feel a heaviness creeping over your body. Be aware of the earth and the mat underneath you, holding you here, grounding you. Let your hips and pelvis sink towards the earth. Let your belly soften. Your rib cage soften. Release any tension in your neck and jaw. Let your teeth separate slightly, so there's no clenching or holding. And feel the back of your skull resting heavy against the earth. And allow yourself to just be here, resting quietly, allowing the effects of that practice to wash over your body. Being here with your breath. Shavasana. You can certainly stay here longer. But if you're ready, you can start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, rock your head back and forth, circle the wrists, the ankles, and then roll yourself over onto your side so you can make your way all the way up towards a seated position. And then bring your hands together here at heart center. Take a deep inhale in. Exhale out. Thank you everyone for sharing practice with me. The light in me sees the light in all of you. Namaste. Enjoy the rest of your day.